We're here, knee on belly, pivot, plop, sit around, come in, collect arm, grab your ankle. Cool, right? I love that move. Really cool technique of mobility. Again, it's another form of position before submission, but if you can get your positioning and your mobility technique to agree with your setup for submission, then that's a win-win. I like this drill because it keeps us fluid as we're surfing the body of our opponent. And I say surfing because it's kind of what it feels like. Like if you look at Kevin here like a surfboard, right? We can't stand on him per se, but we ride. Like if you think about belly riding a surfboard and you're swimming, well, interestingly enough, that's kind of what we do here too. Like when I'm on here, I'm kind of surfing. If he tries to overwrap my arm, right? He tries to, I swim in. We even call it swimming. And I'm just trying to keep my balance on top of this board. And the same thing applies if I go knee on belly. I'm still keeping my balance as if I'm like knee boarding on my opponent. The first step of this drill that we're gonna do is we're gonna come in and practice our knee on belly. At the very most basic elements, we need to think about our position of our foot touching the side of our opponent and where the shin bone and the weight of our body is going to land on our opponent. To do this kind of move so that we're not injuring our training partner, we tend to take it easy on our opponent, which means that I should be able to control this to a point where I don't have to use my hands. If I'm putting so much uncontrolled weight, that's when I'm gonna pop a floating rib, or his xiphoid process rather, and I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do that. So we should be able to be really controlled. We're gonna simulate passing the legs and stepping in. It's a big step. I want the side of my foot to touch the side of my training partner. And then I'm gonna move in with a shin across like a seatbelt. And then this foot oftentimes ends up like this, knee down on the floor, or back behind, or kind of, squatting. That is not the purpose of this outside leg. The outside leg is your balance post. And so when we come in here and I come down, I have a nice wide post, but it's movable in case he tries to push back into me. But for this first step, we're just gonna get used to this dance, this choreography. Big step in, come across, post out, come back up. And I'd like you to try to do that. I'm gonna have you bend your knees so it's not quite as big a step. I'm gonna have you try to do that without using hands. If you have to use your hands to catch and rebalance, like, that's fine, but then try to go back. So you are gonna be putting weight on your opponent, your training partner, but you should be balanced enough to be able to continue this move. Now, another problem we tend to get into is an inefficient step called the stutter step, where we kind of do this baby step thing. If I'm in a real battle, I don't want to be stutter stepping. The efficiency of movement is that I come in with one step and then right in. So don't train yourself in the wrong way. So here, I come in, seatbelt, balance, come back, recenter. Step in, again, the top of my foot is almost underneath my opponent's back, their flank. Down, balance, hands out front. In a real fight, this could be used to attack or to guard. So I want to have my hands able to be free. So let's get with partners. This is our first step. There's going to be 3 parts to this. Let's do it. we need to get into this situational scenario where we get extremely comfortable with our distance management, toreando passing these legs and coming in and landing in the right spot. And then as he pushes me, making sure I can balance, that I'm riding the surfboard, but this thing out here isn't here just for looks. It's actually to help post and keep me driving in. Now, in this situation, one of the most common defenses, not to say it's the most effective for many reasons that we're not going to talk about in this class, the most popular thing for this individual to do is want this weight off their abdomen and off their chest. So a lot of times what you'll see them do is they'll come up onto this shoulder and place their hands on my knee and start to try to push it off. And usually shrimp out. In this case, we're gonna play off from that. Instead of like coming in and underhooking and getting a spinning armbar, we're gonna play with a new setup. So he puts that on there, and instead of just losing that knee, I'm gonna come in and I'm actually gonna reverse it, and I'm gonna put knee on chest. Just turning, now facing his lower body. Then he's gonna wanna push this knee all the way off, and this is where we're gonna stop. This is gonna be our new drill. Part 2 of this setup for the spinning back step into a triangle. So again, it's gonna start here. Boom, knee on belly, he pushes that, so I switch. I simply come in almost like a dance move. I can see he's pushing that off, so I come in and I simply reverse with a knee on chest. He's gonna push that off and it's gonna click down to the ground. And that's where we're pausing right now. Notice we're set up for a potential attack of the lower limbs, but that's not where we're going for in this move. But just keep thinking combinations. We have other potential opportunities here. But this is the setup for our next move after this. So it's gonna look like this. From here, he pushes me off, I reverse, I step out, boom, down he goes. Step back, here, boom, go to the knee on chest, pops. And you're just gonna go back and forth. All right, so here we are. So we're building onto this, right? So we've gotten used to the knee on belly and the balancing, but now we're gonna say this person, he's on it, he doubles on my knee, starts to send me up. Before he makes me fall or get off balance, this is my key to come into the knee on chest and pivot around. Same as the knee on belly, but now I'm facing south. But now he's onto it again, he doesn't want that knee on his chest, so he sends it down to the ground. Now watch, from here. Suck the arm in, right into the triangle, grab your ankle and roll, and it comes right into a triangle. One more time. We're here, knee on belly, pivot, plop, sit around, come in, collect arm, grab your ankle, finish. Cool, right? Mm-hmm. I love that move. Yeah, and you can play with it, guys. If you want to keep your roll going, you can play with it a lot. Notice how I'm collecting that arm a little bit, stapling it, sit back, and just use that as a way to go to mount too. Sure. I like getting arms out of there. Now I just got to deal with this one. It's a good setup. All right, so I grab the ankles. We do a little toreando pass. I come in, I'm surfing, he pushes that. Before he does that, I come back in and I pin his chest. He thinks he's a wise guy. He knocks this down. I reverse over and look at, as I reverse, I collect. That, right here, I'm still in a controlling position. With this hand, I'll grab that ankle. But before I do that, I pummel in and grab that arm. So look at it. If this gets trapped, it's not as tight. So I'm gonna work this here. Turn the corner. If you feel like you're ankle locking yourself with the triangle. There's something with either the bite of the leg or the angle of your body. So what I'll do with that is I'll readjust. Notice how I picked my leg up, clamp down. Now look, there's no pressure at all on my ankle because it's over here. I should be able to waggle my foot. That's where the bite of the back of my knee should be. Because if you get that cheap bite, you're almost ankle locking yourself to try to finish. Make sense? Yeah. Well done. Yeah, love that setup though. It's a great drill. It flows really, really well. And you can play with it so many different ways. If you want it to lead into a finish with a triangle, you can. If you want it just to be a drill of mobility, surfing your opponent, and then getting to the mount, you can use it for that. I think you could set up an arm in triangle from the mount with that. And last but not least, bonus round, even though this is an advanced class. We come here, knee on belly, switch to here, pushes it off. I spin around, I grab. We get here, pummel in, grab that, start to roll. There's an elbow. Either this way or this way. So you can choose. Such a cool technique. So well done.